Well, this is kind of a difficult subject to talk about, and really I steer clear of these often. But there's a point at which when you see like a drama on the net, and you're like, okay, I don't need to go in there. And maybe even look in there, some of the people are walking around there and things are blowing up, and you're like, well, whatever. And you just forget about it, it's far better. That's the advisable thing. But there's a point at which if you're just standing at the fence line of where they've charted off the minefield and you're just looking in there, there's a point at which it's like, well, okay, exception to the rule, I'm gonna go in there. Now I'll probably disappoint and or piss off everybody. Either they'll have a side in the struggle, an emotional investment greater than just a mere human compassion for one side and maybe a demonization of the other. Whereas the people actually care what they think will probably think it's just pointless and they probably shouldn't watch. So the situation is, so there's two users that I'm going to talk about. This drama has gotten to such a level. It's like reality TV. You know, it came along, it's not real, but it's improvisational, and, you know, it's more real than a soap opera. And, of course, a few years of that, and people found out, okay, well, it's not as real as you know, some of us saw it to begin with. And then you have the internet, like YouTube, where it's still not real reality TV, because people are putting on personas and masks and trying to present themselves the way they want to be perceived and all of this. But again, it's more real again. And sometimes things play out online that are just undeniably like real. It doesn't mean they're significant in the sense of, you know, maybe it's a ridiculous thing, but I mean there'd still be like life and death and things like this. So the users are Happy Cabby and Nick Bravo. Now part of this, what's interesting to me, is how I came to notice what's going on between these two fellows, which is Happy Cabby and Spike Bravo are two vaguely familiar names. Now a few months ago I saw a Happy Cabby video where he was doing screen cap and showed, I think somebody else found this, but he was showing that Nephilim Free, when he was showing something on his website, he clicked the message, they saw his bookmarks, and he had, I guess, an escort service and a lingerie website bookmarked. Okay, so fine, and you know, Happy Cabby seems likable enough, and all of this, and good-hearted in some sense, at least the persona that he's producing, but it's not quite my thing, right? Because this whole kind of poning, find an idiot, make fun of him kind of thing, it's not my thing. Now, finding that with Nephilim Free, who I didn't really know much about before that whole incident, was a good one. But it's kind of like practical jokes. If you play a lot of practical jokes, you know, 9 out of 10 of them might fail and get you a reputation for being just a jerk. But that one that hits off, for all the people that don't know about the 9 and just hear about the one because it's so spectacular, they're going to think, wow, how creative and clever of a person that is. Wow. So it's kind of like that with poning. It's like you might do 1 in 10 where I go, wow, that actually had some sort of a value. It was postmodern art, or you know, saying something that carries a further weight into time or something. So I went about my business. Okay, I happened to a few months later see Spike Bravo. I think I commented it in the video or something. Didn't really know. And again, I recognize the name of both Spike Bravo and Happy Cabby from, you know, maybe as much as 3 years ago, but I haven't really followed them. Then I saw a video by the real Nick Bravo where he was talking about being homeless, and I'm like, what? And he's like, for a year and a half, and what? And he's been blogging, and I'm like, what? That's interesting. Blogging while homeless. I would definitely like to subscribe to some blogging while homeless channels, though of course I hope the person is either voluntarily homeless or gets out of the situation. More on that in a second. Okay. Then I saw the real Nick Bravo make a video where he was basically dancing on Happy Cabby's grave, right? So after I had seen Happy Cabby a while ago, and I think maybe subscribed to him, just because I thought that Nephilim Free thing was funny, psychology thing. And so it was after that this whole thing of, if you don't know, Happy Cabby's a user here. He lives off of his YouTube channel, I think, at the moment. And unfortunately, he's been diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver. So he has like a prognosis of like 5 years, and he's got a lot of roadblocks towards getting a liver transplant, mainly that he would probably have to lose weight and stuff. They're very picky about getting on that list. Not to mention the money. Let's do mention the money. It has totally fucked up the medical system in this country, and the choices that Happy Cabby has to face are a perfect example of why it's so fucked up. And Happy Cabby makes some videos about why I talk about my medical condition, you know, even I think prior to this really, really serious one. And I think it's one of the interesting things about his channel. As a matter of fact, one other thing is that he's very unself-conscious as a result. Sometimes it could be like, you don't know what that meant. Real irony there. On the other hand, it's why there's kind of some honest, here's how things are, you can make your own decision out of it. Kind of reminds me of Roger. I really miss Roger the Boring Dispatcher, and I think he was actually in that kind of process, and he was learning as well. But I would never expose myself that much as they do, and I respect people that have whatever it is, whether it's just that they're non-self-reflective enough to know they should be self-conscious, or whether they are and they just figured, fuck it, I'm not going to be self-conscious, or all of the above. I do have a respect for that. I think there's a certain kind of bravery, and sometimes bravery is just because of foolhardiness, but it's definitely interesting then to watch it roll out and see how the brave person, whatever the real reasons, how they fare. Okay, so Nick Bravo was basically dancing on Happy Cabby's grave before Happy Cabby's been buried in it, and I'm like, whoa, well, that's a priori dick move there. Everybody knows that, and not just to Happy Cabby, but to yourself, because that's the kind of thing people aren't really likely to forget. Certainly anytime you get in an argument with somebody or somebody has a little bit of dislike for you, I think dancing on the guy's grave while he was still alive, probably self-damaging. But I'm also like, what? People don't come up with ideas like that just out of nowhere, especially unless they're saying them all the time. So I looked a little deeper, and it turns out these guys lived together for a year. I guess something like Happy Cabby lost his job. Nick Bravo offered him a place to stay. I don't think he took it. Then later Nick Bravo lost his place to stay, and Happy Cabby invited him to rent-free, which he did for a year and a half, something like that. And then Nick Bravo left over Happy Cabby's demand that since Happy Cabby, lost his job again, that Nick would have to pay rent, and Nick found that objectionable. Okay, so, but all I really needed to know is that, oh, they'd lived together. Well, you can develop any sort of emotional attachment / hatred. Okay. So yeah, that's a prima facie dick move. On the other hand, for this year and a half of Nick being homeless, Happy Cabby has mocked his homelessness, and frankly, I think homelessness, involuntary homelessness in particular, is also like a terminal disease. How many years of that do you have? Right? Now, no doubt, Nick is coming across really bitter, angry, and unrealistic, and various things like that. But, you know, that's his prerogative. Happy Cabby is looking better if you just look at these videos and stuff. But underneath, you know, I see these issues of pwning, of you find someone pathetic and you rag on them. And in the atheist community, it's been like, it doesn't matter that they're pathetic or if they're weak and you could stomp on them, you should. That's this atheism versus Christianity, and the Christians are actually stomping on us, so go for it. Which is justifiable, I think, to a certain degree. Of course, it doesn't mean that you're not training yourself to be a bully that looks for weak people that are easy to mock and then mocks them. And so what I see is two guys with internet drama, totally non-life and death, opposite of life and death. It goes on for so many years, and they're the kind of people that a lot of the stuff's out there before they know, you know, delete it later kind of thing. Not that Happy Cabby does that, but Nick seems to put something out there and it's hard to, you know, and thinks it better later. And so you have kind of a nonsense thing, just a personal thing displayed on the internet, kind of drama a lot of people want to watch. I don't. But now it's become life and death. It's become life and death. You have a guy that was homeless. You have a guy that's now dying of liver, not cancer, but cirrhosis of the liver. You've got them battling each other. Meanwhile, both of them are making, please help this guy. You know, Happy Cabby's in the middle of this. He's been called a pedophile, a million things like this. And he's still saying, I don't think Nick's car is going to make it from Northern California all the way down to LA. Please help him. And Nick's going, when he's a millionaire in the next few years, he will pay for Happy Cabby's liver if Happy Cabby loses some weight and blah, blah, blah. What? Yes, so that's some interesting psychology going on there. All round, right? So, yeah, I don't have to take sides. If I had to, I wouldn't even want to. It's too easy. It's too... How not to be the dick in that situation? Well, it's to not get involved at all. But here's this reality TV, semi-real, semi-not real, right? Unreal accusations like of pedophilia. You know, unreal stories of iota crisis. No, I was joking. I was acting. Happy Cabby has either a passive-aggressive thing or a bleeding heart thing where you can tease somebody but you still want to help them make it, or I don't know. It's but it's real data, right? This is real people, and there's an unreal aspect. They're playing it on the internet and it's firing up certain neurons, so it's real, but then it's triggering certain parts of their brain every time they look at the camera, so it's still a subset, a slice of them, of course. So it's not like it's a whole picture, and yet there's some reality to it. This guy's really dying, and this other guy was really homeless, and it's not exactly out of that problem yet. So, yeah, you know, I wish hope both of these guys. You know, Nick has said, oh, I should just go on and say the things and do skits like I want. He should, if that's really how he feels. On the other hand, if he wants this back and forth, well, he's going to lose against Happy Cabby, because one, Happy Cabby comes across more congenially. You can't really badmouth someone for being fat and you know, having sores and bleeding. They've got cirrhosis, and they admit all of that if they're trying to be in denial, but he's not. So that's, you're never going to win this battle, so you ought to just shut up. On the other hand, you know, the internet's to express your opinion. You know, maybe it's a foul, disgusting opinion, and people will react to it, but maybe you need that expression. So really, I'm not telling anybody what to do. Happy Cabby, I don't know why he wouldn't stop dealing with Nick with, you know, parody videos and then please help him videos, and he's my enemy, but just to prove I'm something, I sent him a laptop. Oh, hey, the laptop has a keylogger. No, it didn't. I mean, why? What is the psychology behind this? And there's some performance part. It's like, it's something I could make a video about. I don't know. When I'm watching this reality, now I won't ask you what you think, because I think probably you either won't care, you'll be insulted. I'm asking you to think about this bullshit. Why am I going in the minefield? Partly it's just because I can walk in the minefield. It's really more danger that somebody else in there is going to get blown up while I'm in there than me, I think. And I'm watching this thing, thinking about it for about a week and a half as I see these videos coming in, and it's just like brain dump.